Welcome back. As we move into the week, this read is looking juicy. This does appear to be that divine masculine has you really up in their mind. They are the crowning energy. They're really thinking about this connection. This is somewhere where they directly do feel very at home. They do feel very embodied. And it's quite funny because at this point of the month, we do have Jupiter moving into the house of Gemini. And this is a very intellectual energy. Jupiter wants to run in and dive in. There can be a lot of possibilities of communication, belief systems, but definitely there are two key elements in this read that do look, one could say, perplexed because there is this huge flow. It is this huge heart energy where they're directly in this wisdom and movement and confidence. There are two key areas that could tip them up. Not necessarily is this a bad thing. It is part of life, but we are going to get into it and we will pull clarifiers to really work out what both the movement in the direction is going to be and how they're going to tackle those hurdles. But they do have you very, very heavily on their mind at this point in time. It's almost calling the BS out. It's the acknowledgement of the true for them personally. This could be a lot of dream states. It could be this desire that they're wanting to have to actually communicate with you, to take direct action and to speak it through. The other message I am getting is that for some reason you are giving them confidence. This synchronistic message that was coming through could be for some of you that if you have been in communication with this individual or they've seen you, they've passed by you, some of you may not even know. Something you have done has inspired them somehow. Now, could this have come across initially as some criticism? It possibly could have been, but they've actually digested this. They've thought about this. This is a very common trait of divine masculine. If there has been something that's been said from people around them and they're doing the comparison, they will sit and digest this information. And it can be about 1 to 2 weeks later that they do actually unpack things. They're also linking a synchronistic, how could I explain it? It feels as though they're in the comparison, they're going back to the comparison. They are noticing that a difference between divine feminine and karmic energies. This is something that they weren't aware of before. Now, it could have been there was stalemates, there was stumbling blocks, but this is a personality trait they're noticing with these individuals, and the stark difference between those individuals and your vibration. They did initially feel the situation was way too good to be true, but now they're noticing this is just that you are you're very open, you're very honest, you're very raw and organic. And this can even be in your dark moments and your negative moments. But they're seeing you on the up and up, being a more positive vibration and a human being. So they're not looking at it as a negative thing necessarily. They're empathizing and understanding, but they're also seeing that no matter what, you have continued to come back and you have continued to show your loyalty. I'm noticing the yellow coming through between both individuals, and this can be a thinking situation. This can be a point where both parties are thinking about the confidence, wanting to be playful, wanting to get that young energy back, very, very nostalgic. But it's also what you both can create together, the power of both the individuals coming together and what it could potentially co-create. Now, as I said, there's two cards. It's interesting. It's the furthest to your right. One could deem it as the outcome card, but it's not as yet. And as we do proceed forward, we have the outcome card. And both these two cards are on top of each other. And they're both in the reversal. But like I said, we will get into it. It's quite interesting. I do believe there has been a lot of pressures on this individual of the past, and there has been this potentially, it was very traditional. There could have been a dynamic they had with their father. But again, father energy also astrologically can be Saturn, okay? It can be this Saturnian energy. I do think something to do with responsibility and the way they're going to handle it is going to be evolving at this point in time. There is a thought process that is shifting. So if they're in a karmic relationship, for instance, and they're a parent energy, they're reviewing how they handle that. They're also reviewing, for instance, the cub being older now. For some, it can be that these individuals are older now, and this could be one synchronistic message. But they're also looking at how they're dealing with these things and their viewpoints. And maybe these things were actually blocking them from taking action that intuitively they already knew they needed to take. It could have been through time. Again, Saturn very much links to time. And almost looking at it now as an excuse over a physical reality. So they've pulled some flaws out of that circumstance and they're actually looking at it, again, differently. They're using their wisdom of the past. This also could be a block that they were having with a 3D male energy. This also can be going to the past position now. Something has been addressed, something has been tackled, and they're proceeding forward. Their viewpoint of this individual also has evolved and changed, and they could be placing the individual's energy back on them. So it could be a boss, it could be a father figure. This could be I'm not really feeling a brother energy, or it's their own personal energy, but I'm definitely seeing the accountability energy has been reviewed. They're giving the power back to this situation in a very different way, i.e. it could be if this is a parent energy or a boss energy, they're actually allowing this person to deal with their dramas. They're also looking at it within their own energy and they're looking at their dramas differently and they're tackling them differently. So it's almost leading by example. Yeah, they're very earthed in. When it does come to love, this is something they're wanting to plant in fertile soil. And again, you as the crowning energy, divine feminine, they're actually seeing that this could be very, very positive for them because your ideals and your energies are able to co-create. This also could be subject matters around money where they're really evolving. Particularly, this could be because Jupiter is moving out of Taurus and into the house of Gemini. We're in that transitional over energy, so to speak. So this can be a transformative energy. There can be some blessings coming their way. They also may want to actually change their appearance, change the way they're caring for their body. And again, they are very, very goal orientated now. But this is to do with how they're tackling love. This is a lot to do with love. In the past, I did see a lot of monetary energy coming through. This, again, was from their value systems. This was to do with their jobs, to do with structures. This feels like it's really changing. This is almost chalk and cheese. This is very love orientated, very Mercury in nature, very physical. It's the physical actions they're directly taking. They're using their intuition. Now, here's the interesting card here. We have a judgment energy. Now, I'm going to pull a clarify because I feel this needs. It's almost like the odd one out. It feels as though it doesn't make sense in the context of where this person's heading. And this could be something that they're directly dealing with. I think it could be some criticism to not making a judgment and calling themselves out. This could be something that is not going in their favor, but we're going to pull a clarifier. But again, I don't see it as a stumbling block. I don't see it as something that's going to hold them down. It's almost like they bounce back and they deal with things differently. It's almost accepting the unknown. That's kind of how it's coming through. It's accepting the unknown. This could be, okay, how is my divine feminine going to deal with these circumstances? So will my divine feminine accept me? And so this can take them back into their heads and not into their Saturnian mature energy. There have been some long-standing issues, situations, transformations, and lessons. Yeah, this is their mind. They're like, look, in the past, it was almost that because they were looking at everything in all the way down to the finest speck. It was actually preventing them from being full card and tarot. Now, I feel this person is now taking calculated risks because they have actually thought about this a lot, and they found that it was just taking them in circles, but it kept taking them back to you. So it's almost like, okay, if this keeps taking me back to you, why the devil am I still thinking about this? Why am I getting myself scared? Why am I up in my head about this? The only way I'm actually going to know is by dealing with my past and looking at it more maturely, but also proceeding forward so I can see how this is going to go. And then we have the counselor energy. Now it's in reverse. It's almost like they're aware of this. To me, how it's coming through is mind mastery. Can it be healed? Can't it be healed? This can be a stumbling block. This can be a fear-based frequency. They're getting very grounded. They also, like I said, the self-esteem, the confidence, they're looking at their internal energies and they're caring for themselves more. They needed to rest, needed to get back into that heart space. We do have a lot of blue and green on the screen. Yeah, this was mind mastery. They needed to get out of their heads. There are the unknowns in life, and that is something we all have to accept. And sometimes it prevents us from making the most logical decisions. Okay. Again, I really do see, for those of you in communication, it's something you said, they're now realizing they're connecting the dots. They didn't get it at first. They needed a bit of time to understand. For some of you, if you did keep this on a friend level and you start reacting like you're a friend, or this could be a mind situation, it's actually making them, they're wanting to turn you into more than a friend. They're wanting more than that. They also can be, from a karmic point of view, looking at that person. Again, it's chalk and cheese. They keep saying it. There can be a separation coming. Acknowledging the past for what it was. A lot of healing, especially if this person's single. Acknowledging the past and putting it where it is. They're also mentioning it did take them a little bit longer to heal than usual. Not necessarily due to love, but due to, a build-up of life's traumas. This is part of the awakening process. I think sometimes we can get deeply frustrated, but when we do look at our purgatory cycle, it's not done in one hit. It's done gradually. And generally that awakening, that kind of oomph for that awakening to be occurring can feel like a massive tower moment that lasts an awful long time. It's not a day. It's, sometimes it's not even a year. So this has been the point of detox for them. Emotionally, physically, psychologically, going down that vault into the dark night of the soul and pulling and retrieving up those things. So if it had been topsy-turvy, they're making reference to this. You've also got the reunion card here, where it does relate to you. They're seeing you for the beauty you are. They're feeling more in alignment to accept this. Yeah, they actually realised this had to happen this way. But, not so much all the grit and yuck, but whatever this is, it's really helped them become the stronger, healthier version of themselves. Ooh. Wow, well, that's an absolute compliment. I wondered how this outcome card was going to play out. We had the intuition, okay? Now, I've pulled some clarifiers. Clarifiers because it's building upon the story. Because I generally can pick where it is an individual or it's a message. Now, there's an individual relating to intuition here. And again, just through this whole reading, they're definitely putting the dots together where you can be trusted, divine feminine. They are realizing a lot of these triggers they were having were because of shady individuals of the past and shadow energy they were dealing with. The first thing they're looking at is they really didn't expect a karmic to be a karmic. Maybe didn't even know what one was. There could have been issues with values. There also could have been a severing of finances between both individuals here. They also feel with you, regardless of what you've got, you've never taken them to the cleaners. You know, in the most toxic of fashions. I see a black spider. I see a karmic energy here. I see abundance taken. But the one true gift they're feeling is they get you. We'll see you on the other side. If you picked up anything, feel free to share it with the crowd. We'd love to hear your feedback of how this energy this week is playing out for you.